குட் மார்னிங் டு ஆல் ஆஃப் யூ மா. ஒரு வாரம் எப்படி போச்சுன்னே தெரியல. 2 days ஆன மாதிரி தான் இருக்கு எனக்கு. Okay, see, from today we'll be starting the CPT, okay? CPT ல so you know CPT. CPT is current procedural terminology. இதெல்லாம் basicsல we have covered all this. சும்மா ஒரு 2 minutes மட்டும் I will say what it is, give an intro. Now, AMA is a publishing authority. American Medical Association is a publishing authority, and Jan 1st of every year, the code book changes. So, in this section, we say it as current procedural terminology. So, which means now this is a coding manual which is going to contain the code sets for all the procedures which are currently being practiced by majority of these healthcare providers in the United States. Current procedural terminology na currently it is being practiced. Okay, so every year it is subject to changes because doctors or there might be a discovery in medicine, pudu technique onu kandupidichirkalam, new surgery they would have discussed, isn't it, new robotic type of surgery. So every year, so the landscape of medicine keeps on changing, isn't it? The scope of medicine keeps on changing, so does medical coding. So in this book, if you see, we have got three categories, are there? Cat 1, 2, 3. Cat 1 is what we are going to extensively study. Okay. Now Cat 2, it is for quality reporting purposes, and Cat 3 is for future. Like say for example, there's a technology which they have adopted this year. Now you might have a code next year. Okay. So Cat 3 is reserved for technology and for temporary procedures. So why do we say temporary codes? Because these codes can remain there in the Cat 3 section only for a period of 5 years. It's like election in India. For a 5-year tenure, then after that, that code will have to either get deleted or it will have to be reinstated in Cat 1. One on the code வந்துட்டு it should become as category 1 code or it shall stand deleted. So idukku you must understand there is so much of political and bigotry that takes place in US. It is not an easy thing to get a code. Or code recognition kadikkiradhukku there is so much of a political lobbying that takes place in the US. Okay. So Cat 1 la, that is what we are going to discuss under various sections. Now Cat 2, the last character will end with the alpha F. So it is for quality reporting purposes. Quality reporting purposes now, despite America is spending so much for healthcare, still the population is sick. It is the sickest population with so much of chronic diseases. So it is expected that healthcare providers render some quality service to their patients. If I say, for example, a patient who has a history of family diabetes, say like 30 years old, now it is expected that the doctor provides some kind of, strategy so that the patient can reduce the risk factor. So the physician can provide some kind of a counseling. He can offer some kind of a counseling over the usage of tobacco and alcohol, but the doctor will not get paid for that. It is a quality service which is expected that the provider will need to render over and beyond his clinical treatment. Okay, but if doctors don't do that, now what happens is there is not an incentive. Doctors are not given incentive for those, but what happens is now payment will be deducted from them if they fail to do that. If you understand, see, it's like you are working in a company, you are achieving your production, you get salary. But if you are not achieving your quality, now they are going to do a salary cut. So anda madhiri dhaan in the PQRS. Now category 3 is for future and technology codes. Technology, new surgeries, new procedures, you will find it there. So what we are going to discuss today is under Cat 1. In Cat 1, you can see there are various sections. So how do we study that as EASRPM? EASRPM. EASRPM. E is for evaluation and management services. A is anesthesia. S is surgery. R radiology. P pathology. M medicine. Okay. So does the code sets also differ? Now surgery, under surgery, we'll be studying about all the procedures that can be done from head to foot. So the code sets for EZER PM is E&M, the code will start with 99. Anesthesia, the code will be 0. Surgery, it will be from head to foot, no? So we give the codes from 1 to 6. So codes that start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now these are classified as surgical CPT codes. Okay. Next is like radiology 7 series, pathology 8, lab and path 8, medicine is 9. So how do you differentiate medicine and E&M? Medicine is only 1-9, whereas E&M is 9-9. Now under surgery, if you see, the very first system that you're going to see is the integumentary system plus the human breast. So human breast, it's supposed to be placed in the, human breast is count for both male and female, isn't it? So that's why it has been classified under the skin system itself. It is not classified under a female genitalia per se. So 1 series codes are for the skin integumentary or the dermatologic procedures, the plastic surgeries, and the breast procedures. Now these procedures, these are common. These are done both for male and female. Next, for 2 series, it is MSK, musculoskeletal procedures or orthopedic procedures. 3 is for 3 things. See, I have put videos on all this, right? People whoever it is new, please watch my videos. CPT 1, 2, இதெல்லாம் நான் போட்டிருக்கேன். Please watch that. You will understand. ஏன்னா இந்த லெவல்ல I cannot explain about those things, okay? Because those are the basic level topics. If I take that, we cannot cover our CPC classes. So 3 is for 3 things: RS, CVS, hemic and lymphatic. 4 is digestive system. 5 is urogenital. 6 is endocrine, nervous system and special senses. Okay, now we are going to see about the integumentary system. I hope I understand that you know a bit of anatomy, right? Skin anatomy. It's not a big deal. So when you talk about skin, we also say it as derma. Yeah. Yes, ma?
Sir, now the group illa sir. The group please.
Oh, sutto. Group illa ni. Share, okay. சரி நான் உனக்கு ஃபார்வர்ட் பண்ணிடுறேன். இதை நீ முன்னாடியே சொல்லிருக்கலாம்ல, எங்க சொல்ல விட்டாங்கறியா? சரி நான் போட்டேன். So skin anatomy, you know, right? So skin, we also say it as derma or as cutaneous. It's a cutaneous. So we get the term as cutaneous tissue, which is skin. So true skin is a dermis. On top of dermis, we have epidermis, and then beneath the dermis is a hypodermis. So you know epidermis, there are so many strata. First stratum is a stratum corneum, lucidum, granulosum, spinosum, and basal. And coming to dermis, it is a true organ which has this. Epidermis is avascular. There is no direct blood supply to epidermis, whereas dermis is highly vascular. So there are blood vessels, nervous supply, nervous innervation, as well as lymphatic drainage. So we have 2 glands, sebaceous glands and sudoriferous glands, which are the sweat glands. The sebaceous glands, there are 2 types. One is apocrine as well as eccrine glands. We also have the baroreceptors, thermoreceptors, mechanoreceptors, pain receptors, so many sensory neurons. So dermis can be divided into 2 regions. One is a papillary region and the reticular region. So we say it is a partial thickness of skin. So sometimes what happens in terms of burns or while talking about these pressure ulcers, we say it's partial thickness of skin. So when we say partial thickness of skin, which means the involvement is only up to a varying level of dermis. It does not include the entire dermis. If it includes the entire dermis, say the patient has got a pressure ulcer or a burns, including the entire dermis, then we label that as a full thickness skin. So FTSG, so we have a graft as an FTSG, which is a full thickness skin graft, and a split thickness skin graft. A full thickness skin graft, so here it involves the entire dermis as well. Now beneath the dermis, we have the hypodermis, which is a subcutaneous tissue or the superficial fascia. So lying beneath this, we have the connective tissue, which is a muscle and its fascia, and beyond that we have the bones. So this is the anatomy which is pertinent here. Okay. Now how we are going to select a course, especially from this dermatology system, is you need to understand. So one is based on the condition, right? One is based on the condition. So we have got specific codes for. Can you name some dermatologic conditions? Some derm conditions. Skin conditions ஏதாவது சொல்லுங்களேம்மா.
எரித்தோமா, redness.
என்னது?
Redness on the skin. எரித்தோமா.
ஓகே, எரித்தோமா. ஓகே, சரி, வேற? வேற ஸ்கின் கண்டிஷன் ஏதாவது? I'm pulling the book, ma. I'm not getting the book. Just 1 second, ma. என்னென்ன ஸ்கின் கண்டிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு? ஆக்னே இருக்கா? Psoriasis இருக்குமா? Dermatitis, eczema, isn't it? wound இருக்கலாமா? Abscesses, isn't it? Acne, comedones, blackheads, whiteheads.
TB of skin.
Next,
So TB of skin.
Exactly, skin infections like leprosy, tuberculosis, isn't it? So skin infections can be there. Inflammatory diseases like psoriasis or dermatitis, fungal infections like onychomycosis. Okay, we also have warts, isn't it? Warts irukala, herpetic eruptions, vesicles, varicella, pustules, isn't it? Macule, papules, polyps, skin tags. Skin tag na enna arthoma? Skin tag, now you can see certain portion of the skin hangs down the skin. We say it as a skin tag. Otherwise, we say it as acrocordon. Okay, acrocordon. So you need to know this. Yeah, now we have special codes for these removal of skin tags. Acrocordon. Okay, next enna irukla? Hematoma, post-op hematoma, seroma can be there. So they can remove the seroma. They can do drainage of this pus, isn't it? And then there can be skin cancers, isn't it? So Americans are vulnerable to develop skin cancers. The Americans, the Australians, they are more vulnerable to develop skin cancers. Why? Why are they vulnerable to develop skin cancers?
Melanin less.
Melanin.
Exactly. The absence of melanin, isn't it? The word melano means a black pigment. Melanocytes which are present in the skin, they filter the UV radiations and thereby prevent the development of tumors. So oncogenesis, isn't it? So neoplasia. So when we talk about like tumors, so we need to understand there are types, like we have seen the various types of tumors, like benign tumors, isn't it? Malignant tumors, tumors of uncertain behavior, isn't it? All that we have seen. Unspecified nature, all that we have seen, isn't it? So same way, when we talk about tumors, now you need to understand here, say if it is going to be a skin lesion. So the term lesion, it is a vague term for any abnormality, isn't it? So if I say that there is a lesion in the kidney, a lesion in the liver, so it means that there is something abnormal in these viscera. So lesion in general, now we can classify that as a benign lesion or a malignant lesion or a pre-malignant lesion, isn't it? So benign lesions சொல்லும்போது இந்த acne, இந்த wart due to HPV infection, human papilloma viruses, isn't it? So இதனால வரக்கூடிய இந்த lesions எல்லாமே we categorize them as benign lesions. Say keratosis, seborrheic keratosis, இந்த வேர்க்கூறுன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, we say it as seborrheic keratosis or an inflamed seborrheic keratosis. And hemangiomas, cherry angiomas. In the hemangioma, what is hemangioma? What's the word meaning of hemangioma? break the word and tell me, yeah. Medical terminology. Break the word and tell me. How do you break this word? The word of the number. Heme plus angio plus oma, isn't it? Heme plus angio plus oma. Heme refers to blood. Angio is vessel. Oma is tumor. So hemangioma is nothing but a cutaneous vascular malformation. So we have conditions like hamartomas, cherry angioma, like birthmark. பிறக்கும்போதே குழந்தைக்கு will be having this birthmark சொல்லுவோமா, port wine stain, இதெல்லாம் நம்ம சொல்லுவோமா. These are nothing but hemangiomas. See, though these are vascular malformations, so what you expect is the code should be from the 3 series, isn't it? Because it is a vascular malformation, we study the vascular system, the cardiac system under the 3 series. But here these are cutaneous vascular malformations, and so these are classified under the dermatology itself. Okay, so why I'm saying all these conditions is you need to understand. So the codes in the integumentary section, now they are being classified according to the condition. Okay, according to the condition. So you will have to select a code based on the skin condition, and secondly, according to the procedure. So what is a procedure? What is the effort on the part of the dermatologist? Say, for example, the patient might be having a mass or a tumor, okay, say in the breast. Now here, the surgeon can either perform the removal of the tumor of the breast, isn't it? So the surgeon can remove the mass of the breast, or the surgeon can go for a partial mastectomy, or he can go for a simple mastectomy, or he can go for a radical mastectomy, or he can go for a modified radical mastectomy. So the mass is the mass, but the procedure is different according to the condition, isn't it? So the condition is the same. Whereas when I say the patient is having a gynecomastia, what is gynecomastia? Very good. So the male is having a female type of breast. So, but for a case of a gynecomastia, we have a specific code. Now, breast enlargement is common in both male and female. So, if there's a breast enlargement, we say it as a hypertrophy of breast, for which the female undergoes a reduction mammoplasty. Whereas when a male is going to have this enlargement, we say it as a gynecomastia, which is an endocrinal disorder, and we have a specific code. So for female who's having a mass, now you'll have to select the code based on the extensiveness of the surgery. What kind of procedure the surgeon performs, so you're going to report that. Whereas for a gynecomastia, just one code, purely based on the condition, no matter what the doctor does, what the procedure doctor does. But if the condition is going to be a gynecomastia, you'll have to select a code which is specifically exclusively for gynecomastia. So with this, you understand that. So we have codes, especially under the dermatology, which are classified according to the condition, and secondly, according to the type of procedures which the doctor does, whether it's a simple procedure or a complex procedure. Okay, so usually, so in the skin, now the problem with these Americans is, now they develop a lot of skin lesions. What we see in Hollywood is just the other side. But so they are prone to develop so much of skin conditions, even they are not able to withstand even a mosquito bite. They come to office with a mosquito bite. So people are so allergic, and because they are being trained because of over usage of all these drugs, chemical substances, isn't it? And I'm very sorry to say that, because they rely so much on allopathic with the modern medicine, not say allopathic, the modern medicine. So when you rely too much on modern medicine, the entire world was a witness, right? The kind of mortality that was taking place in the Europe as well as the American countries. So we all know that it was a witness. We were all witnesses, because its sole dependence on the modern medicine, usage of too much of antibiotics, antiseptics, drugs. So what happens? So medicines have their own side effects, adverse reactions, and of course, poisonous effects. So they suffer from those unnatural diseases like medicine-induced diseases. So their quality of life is pathetic. So America is struggling because they spend so much for their healthcare. So these patients develop a lot of skin lesions, and the calmness procedure which they do is, so especially if we see on the East Coast, like you have states like Texas, New Jersey, Florida, if you see, now dermatologists thrive. You just go and see dermatologists USA போட்டு பாருங்களேன். The East Coast இருக்கிற அத்தனை பேருக்குமே, I mean, so many dermatologic doctors flourish there because more sunlight. So they develop like solar keratosis, skin conditions, isn't it? So they develop a lot of skin conditions. And the problem with that is they cannot ignore that. You know why? Because now we don't know whether that condition is a benign one or a malignant one, or is it a pre-malignant one? Because anytime this can become a malignant one. So you know about malignant lesions? What's the problem with malignant lesions? What's the problem with malignant lesions? When do you say a lesion is a malignant one?
When it exhibits metastatic characters.
Very good. When it exhibits metastasis, isn't it? So the lesion spreads, the cancerous cells spread from one place to another. So a person with a skin cancer can develop a lung cancer, can develop a kidney cancer, can develop a breast cancer, can develop a brain cancer. So they are so much worried because they don't know. So usually the calmness procedure is they go and have a biopsy. So how do we know what is the nature of this lesion? So people will go for a biopsy. So under biopsy, there are so many techniques. Okay, there are so many techniques like a shave biopsy, or a punch biopsy, or an incisional biopsy. So how codes are classified here in our book is based on three things. Please write down TPI. You can write in your book. TPI. T refers to a tangential biopsy, P is for a punch biopsy, I for an incisional biopsy. Now here you need to understand. Okay. Now say for example, if the doctor is going to do a biopsy of 2 lesions, okay, biopsy of 2 lesions, and if it is going to be a tangential biopsy, now you can see in your code sets, can you see 11102? Please go and see, ma. 11102. So what is a shave biopsy otherwise called? How you can call a shave biopsy? Can you please come to page number? It's the I'll tell you the page number. Okay, I think 3rd or the 4th page, ma. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think the 5th page, parangla. 5th page, paranga. Can you see the code 11102? So the code 11102 says tangential biopsy of skin. It says shave, scoop, saucerize, curate. So அப்போ இதுல ஏதாவது ஒரு term இருந்ததுன்னா, now you can go with 11102. So if the doctor is going to do a shave biopsy of 3 lesions, now can you tell me the code? How do we code? The doctor does a shave biopsy of 3 lesions. Can you go to the 5th page and tell me? 11102 on the series.
1102, 1103 into 2.
Very good. So 1102 and 03 times 2. Clear, Amma? 3 lesions. So, upon the shave biopsy, tangential biopsy, scooping, illa saucerization, illa curate biopsy, curating. Curate biopsy ne kudupanga. Appo If it is 3 lesions, you'll go with 11102 அப்புறம் 03 times 2. Next பாருங்க, அப்ப 213 வந்துட்டு shave biopsy. I said TPI, no? TPI சொன்னேன் இல்லையா? T-ங்கிறது tangential, P-ங்கிறது punch, I-ங்கிறது incisional. அப்போ tangentialக்கு 2 கோடு 213, punchக்கு 2 கோடு 4 and 5, incisionalக்கு 2 கோடு 6 and 7. So first code is it's a primary code. Next code is an add-on code. So you know what an add-on code is. Add-on code is another, it cannot remain alone, isn't it? So the plus code will always need to be reported along with the primary code. It is not a standalone code. It cannot stand alone. It's a dependent code. Which modifier you can never use with plus codes? Plus codes oda endha modifier use பண்ணக்கூடாது?
51 modifier.
Modifier 51 we can never use. Okay, so punch biopsy 4 and 5, incisional biopsy 6 and 7. Now for example, the doctor is going to do biopsy of 3 lesions. One lesion was with a tangential biopsy, the other was with a punch biopsy, and the other was with an incisional biopsy. Now how do you report the codes? 3 lesions are being biopsied. Okay, so each lesion was biopsied with a different technique: shave, punch, as well as incisional. Now how do you report the codes? So for shave, you have got codes 2 and 3, punch is 4 and 5, incisional is 6 and 7. Okay, now what do we do is, what you need to understand is, see the codes, they go in the ascending order. Ascending order la dhaan code pogum. Appa ascending order la pogumbodhu, the value of the code might become higher. It's not always the case. I'm just telling you. In general, you can have this point. So the payment for the code will be higher. So as the codes go to an ascending code, periya code pogumbodhu, the payment will be higher. So if you get 11102, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 la paakumbodhu, now 6 and 7 they have the higher payment. So you know how to arrange the codes. Yeah, we will arrange the codes based on the RVU, relative value unit. In the code payment adhigamo, and the code is first code. I think only Yogesh, Martin, all others can understand Tamil, right? Okay, so you'll have to put the code which has the highest RVU, isn't it? So what you should do here, now 3 lesions are being biopsied with 3 different techniques, and the payment for the incisional biopsy is the highest. So you'll have to report the incisional code. Which code is that for incisional biopsy?
06.
06. So your first code will be 11106. Is that clear? Okay. Now the next codes, we have the tangential biopsy as well as a punch biopsy. Now 2 lesions each. Now what happens? So here you need to understand only one will be the primary code and the other becomes the add-on code. So what happens here is, now for the punch biopsy, you report. So punch biopsy, you have codes 4 and 5, isn't it? So here you'll have to report the add-on code 11105. Now same way for the shave biopsy, we have got 2 codes 11102 and 11103. Now since you have already reported a one primary code, now you'll have to report it as 11103. So the final coding would be 11106, 11105 and 11103. Did you understand? இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸாம்ல வருமா? இதெல்லாம் கேட்பாங்க. இதுதான் இம்பார்ட்டண்டா கேட்பாங்க. டேர்ம்ல full mark வாங்கணும். Term can be a little confusing, but you should get full marks in term. Ma, did you understand, ma? Can I give you some more example? Just write down in your book or rough note எழுதிக்கோங்க. 5 lesions are biopsied. 5 lesions are biopsied. 2 tangential, 5 lesions are biopsied. 2 tangential technique. 2 tangential technique. Okay. 1 incisional. 1 incisional, and 2 punch biopsies. So 5 lesions are biopsy, 2 tangential and 2 punch, and 1 incisional. Now, how do you report this?
Equivalent 06, equivalent 05 into 2, equivalent 03 into 2.
Very good. Super. Perfect. So I said 5 lesions. Yeah. So, 2 tangential, 2 punch, 1 incisional. So, incisional become the first code. So, 11106. Now, remaining 4 lesions are there. 2 shave biopsy are there, 2 punch are there. So, you'll have to report the 2 punch codes. Punch is 4 and 5. But since you have reported a primary code, you'll have to report the add-on codes. So, 11105, there are 2 lesions. So, 11105 into times 2. Same way, 2 shave biopsies or tangential biopsies. So, 11103 into 2. Clear? Anybody has a doubt here?
Sir, tangential என்ன sir?
என்னம்மா?
Tangential biopsy சொன்னீங்க அப்படின்னா என்ன?
டான்ஜென்ஷியல்னா லைட்டா டச் பண்ணிட்டு போவோம். கம்ப்ளீட்டா அந்த லீஷன் வந்துட்டு கம்ப்ளீட்டா வந்து எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. பிகாஸ் we have got incisional biopsies and excisional biopsy. டான்ஜென்ஷியல்ங்கிறது they are going to take a biopsy touching this lesion. அவ்வளவுதான். கம்ப்ளீட்டா வந்து அவங்க ரிமூவ் பண்ண போறது கிடையாது. So it's a simple method of biopsy. Okay. Okay, ma. Now come back to this biopsy we have seen, isn't it? இப்போ பயாப்சியில் இந்த பயாப்சிஸ் நம்ம பார்த்துட்டோம். ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி பயாப்சியில் என்ன செய்ய போகிறாங்க, ஸ்கின் லீஷன் இருக்கும். அக்கார்டிங் டு த டைப் ஆஃப் பயாப்சி we are going to report it. Now next is an aspiration biopsy. Now what is an aspiration biopsy? ஸோ இந்த பயாப்சிக்கும் அந்த பயாப்சிக்கும் என்ன டிஃப்ரென்ஸ்?
They might have take example tissue.
Okay, under biopsy they are going to take sample the solid tissue. Okay, solid tissue.
Whereas in aspiration, they are going to collect some fluid. Maybe
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. In an aspiration biopsy, now they are going to aspirate the fluid and then subject to an examination. Say, for example, a patient has got a swelling of the thyroid in the neck region. Okay. இல்ல தைராய்ட்ல ஸ்வெல்லிங் இருக்கலாம், இல்ல எனி பாடி ரீஜன்ல இருக்கலாம். பட் வாட் இஃப் இட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு கண்டெயின் ஃப்ளூயிட், உள்ள நீர் கோர்த்துட்டு இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, ஸோ அந்த டைம்ல தே கேன் டு ஒன் FNA பயாப்சி. ஸோ வி சே இட் இஸ் அ ஃபைன் நீடில் ஆஸ்பிரேஷன் பயாப்சி. ட்ரோகார் இல்ல ஒரு லார்ஜ் நீடிலா இருந்தனா that is for a common ordinary biopsy techniques. But when they are going to use a fine needle, and that too when they are going to remove the fluid, take a piece of this, not a piece. So in the aspiration cytology, we say it as first they do an aspiration biopsy, and then they do an aspiration cytology, which is being done by the pathologist. So the dermatologist does the aspiration biopsy. So here there might be a solid tissue as well as bodily fluids. Okay, so what they can do is now they'll be examining the fluid. So we say it as a cytology. What are the type of cells which are seen in this fluid? We say it as a cytology and then a histology, isn't it? Examining a tissue. So in the FNA perform பண்றதுக்கு, maybe say for example the doctors might resort to guidance. Guidanceக்கு resort பண்ணலாம். Guidanceங்கிறது என்னதுமா, ஒரு அல்ட்ராசவுண்டோ இல்ல ஒரு MRIயோ இல்ல ஒரு ஸ்டீரியோடாக்டிக் கைடன்ஸையோ வந்துட்டு யூஸ் பண்ணலாம். இல்ல அப்படி இல்லைன்னா they can simply report they can perform the procedure without any guidance. So can you see the codes? Say for example the physician has done an FNA for 3 lesions without guidance. Can you tell me the codes? The physician has done an FNA biopsy for 3 lesions without guidance. Go to the first page. So do you see code 121? Do you see code 121? FNA without imaging guidance, first lesion, and I said 3 lesions. So the add-on code will become 10004 times 2. Okay, 10004 times 2. Did you understand, ma? Now, what if the surgeon is going to do an FNA biopsy using an ultrasound technique? Now, what will be your codes for 3 lesions? First page பார்த்து சொல்லுங்க. First page தான் இருக்கு. இது இப்படி தான் கேட்பா. Number of lesions வச்சா நம்ம போட்டுக்க போறோம். என்ன guidance யூஸ் பண்றாங்க? What is the technique? So they are doing an FNA with an ultrasound guidance, with an USG guidance for 3 lesions. Then the code will be 10005 and 10006 times 2. Clear, Amma? Did you understand? Okay, fine. Now what do we do? It's like they are going to place a localization devices. Localization devices na enna appadinama, they might be placing some clips in the mari metallic devices place பண்ணுவாங்க. Say for example, ஒரு பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு வந்துட்டு breastல mass இருக்கு இல்ல lesion இருக்கு அப்படின்னா, so what they will do, the surgeon is going to place a localization device so that this will be easy for the surgeon to excise the lesion. So அப்ப இந்த device place பண்றாங்க இல்லையா subcutaneously, அதுக்குமே we have got codes. So எத்தனை lesions-க்கு வந்து இவங்க வந்து place பண்றாங்களோ அதுக்கான கோட் இருக்கு. Now please understand, the code is not based on the number of devices. The code is purely based on the number of lesions that are being treated. Say for example, the doctor has placed 4 devices for 2 lesions. Okay, 4 localization devices illa clips illa pellets place பண்றாங்க for 2 lesions னு வைங்க. Now do you see code 135 and 136? Do you see code 135 and 136? 135 says placement of soft tissue localization device or devices. So which means ஒரே லீஷனுக்கு 2 இல்ல 3 டிவைஸ் பிளேஸ் பண்ணாலும் ஒரே கோட் தான். Okay, because it says localization device or devices. So singular and plural. So there is no difference in the number of clips which they place, but you can see the next code, the add-on code 136, which says each additional lesion. So here it is understood the code selection is purely based on the number of lesions treated or addressed rather than the number of devices placed. So I said for 2 lesions, they are placing 3 devices, isn't it? So here the total number of lesions are 2. So the coding would be 135 and 136. Clear, ma? Okay, now please come to code for acne. For acne, they are doing a marsupialization. Now what is marsupialization? What's a marsupial? Which animal we say it as a marsupial? கேள்விப்பட்டது இல்லையா நீங்க மார்சுபியல்னுட்டு ஒரு அனிமலை சொல்லுவோமே, கங்காரூஸ் இல்லையா? கங்காரூ நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? We say it is a marsupial. Why? Because it has a pouch one in which the young one is there. It has a pouch. இந்த pouchக்குள்ள தான் the kangaroo குட்டி இருக்கும் இல்லையா? So same way, to drain an abscess, see, commonly we can do an IND. We can make an incision and drain out the abscess. But there's one technique called as marsupialization. What is marsupialization? So whereby the surgeon is going to create a pouch. So as and when, say if it is going to be a cystic abscess, now as and when, now the products of suppuration are getting formed. So as and when they get formed, now they get drained. So they are not going to completely excise a lesion. Say it can be a cystic lesion. They're not going to completely excise. They're not going to completely. They'll be doing a complete drainage, but they don't excise a lesion. So if they excise panama, they'll create a pouch. So as and when these fluids are getting formed, it will be drained. So under procedure pair marsupialization. So acne, we all know acne as an inflammatory skin disease. Yeah. So acne kana code 140. But again, to understand, acne kana code 140. But when the physician is going to do a chemical treatment for acne, now the code will be different. Next, you can see codes 160, 161. 160 is very simple, IND. The doctor is doing an IND of an abscess. Okay, and it is a simple abscess. So you can see codes 160 and 161. Now, what's the difference now with 160 and 161? 160 க்கும் 161 க்கு என்ன டிஃபரன்ஸ் பாருங்க. Can you read 160?
Incision and drainage of abscess. Example, carbuncle, suppurative hydrantitis, cutaneous or subcutaneous abscess, cyst, ranuncle or parenchyma, simple or single. 61 is complicated or multiple, sir. That is it.
Okay. So you can see that. Okay, ma. Thanks, ma. See the number of under 160. See the number of conditions that are being treated. So it can be a carbuncle, which is a larger boil, or it can be a case of a cellulitis. Now the next is suppurative hidradenitis. Now what is hidradenitis? What is hidradenitis? Suppurative, so results in the formation of pus. What is hidradenitis? Hydro plus adeno plus itis. Hydro refers to sweat. Adeno means gland. So here the sweat gland is getting inflamed. So we say it as hidradenitis suppurativa. So usually in the axillary region, the pubic region, the groin region, the patient can develop a hidradenitis. So the sweat gland is getting inflamed, which is hidradenitis. Next is cutaneous or a subcutaneous abscess. Now, when I say subcutaneous, cutaneous abscess till the level of dermis, or it can be even beyond this dermis, which is at the level of hypodermis. Now, this hypodermis is where we have this adipose tissue, isn't it? And cyst, furuncle is nothing but a cellulitis, subcutaneous inflammation, and then paronychia. So, what is paronychia? So paro plus onychia. Onychia refers to nails. Para means by the side of. So infection around the nails we say is paronychia. Now the code selection is based on simple or single. Okay. So if the doctor is going to drain out just one abscess, then the code is 160. But if the abscess is going to be more than one, if the doctor is going to drain more than one, then you'll have to report 161. So can you see the difference, ma? Simple or single, and 61 is complicated or multiple. Okay, multiple na more than one. Okay, the other way is around complicated. So when do we say that an abscess is a complicated abscess? Say if the size of the abscess is very large, or when this abscess has got subcutaneous extensions. Now we say it as tunneling. Have you heard this word as tunneling? See, the abscess on the superficial இருக்கிற மாதிரி தெரியும். The wound abscess superficial இருக்கிற மாதிரி தெரியும். But underneath, there might be deeper connections. We say them as sinuses. Sinus and fistula. I hope you know the meaning of sinus and fistula. Fistula, it's a connection between two structures, whereas a sinus is like a dead-end street. Isn't it? So there could be subcutaneous extensions. So if a wound has got, or an abscess with multiple extensions, or we say, so the doctor will have to do an undermining. In the abscess in the pus remove பண்றதுக்கு, the dermatologist will have to do an undermining. Undermining na தோண்டணும். Mining na என்ன அர்த்தம்? தோண்டறது தானே, excavating. So he'll have to do an undermining to remove all those subcutaneous extensions. அப்ப 160-61 என்ன வித்தியாசம் வரும்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, பேமெண்ட்ல டிஃபரன்ஸ் வரும். ஏன்னா 61க்கு it might be having a 10-day global period. So we have seen all this, right? Global periods la 160 க்கு 0-day global ஆ இருக்கும். இப்போ ஒருத்தருக்கு முள்ளு குத்திருச்சு, he ran over a thorn. Okay, so அந்த முள்ளு ரீட்டனா இருந்துச்சுன்னா என்னவாகும், ஒரு வாரத்தை நான் சுத்தி சீல் ஃபார்ம் ஆயிருமா? So maybe it could be a simple abscess, then you can go for 160. But if it has got subcutaneous extensions, deep or large abscess, you will go with 161. So 161 has 10 days global period, 160 has only 1 day, meaning on the day of surgery only. There is 0 post-operative global period. So payment will be high. So you need to understand whether we need to give 160 or 61. So you'll have to read the document carefully. Doctors என்ன நினைப்பாங்க, இந்த கோடை போட்டுருப்பாங்க. அந்த கோடெல்லாம் போட முடியாது. We need to have the document, we need to have the proof. Sometimes insurance company will ask us, why do you build 161? Give me the proof அப்படின்றுவான். So you'll have to document the lesion, the diameter of the lesion. In what way is it complex? How many abscesses were there? You'll have to mention all that. How many abscesses I drained? Even though if it is a single abscess, it had subcutaneous extensions. I'll have to perform undermining. So all these a doctor will have to say. Okay, only then we can go for the higher level code. If the documentation does not state anything about the difficulty of the procedure or the extensiveness of the procedure, please don't go and select the higher level code. Stick to the least level. Because the problems with doctors is most of the time we encounter insufficient documentation. The documentation is not going to be sufficient. So in case of insufficient documentation, we cannot claim a higher payment. So automatically the coder will have to down code it to the lower level code. In case you have the opportunity to talk to the doctor and get it clarified, then in that case it's well and fine. But if the doctor is not reachable, he is not accepting any questions from you, at that time we can't do anything, isn't it? So we'll have to code what is given in the documentation. இப்போ இந்த மாதிரி தான் கோட்ஸ் வரும், நம்பர் ஆஃப் லீஷன்ஸ்க்கு கோட்ஸ் வரும், ரைட்? ப்ரொசீஜர் வந்து டிஃபிகல்ட்டான ப்ரொசீஜர், காம்ப்ளிகேட்டான ப்ரொசீஜர், மல்டிபிளான ஆப்சஸ் இருந்துச்சுன்னா the code will be different. Okay, next you see 180 and 81. Pilonidal cyst. Now what is a pilonidal cyst? Now you can break down this again. Pilus plus nidus. Pilus ingiradhu hair, nidus ingiradhu nest, right? So these type of cysts, appo inda cyst kulla enna irukum, hair irukum. Some cyst will contain bones, cartilage ellame irukum. We say it as a teratoma, a dermoid cyst. So those are tumors that contain different tissues. But here in a pilonidal cyst, now this cyst, this skin lesion develops most commonly in the buttock region, in the sacrococcygeal region. So why? So because usually the sufferers, people who suffer from this condition are drivers, because they are constantly sitting, due to friction. Now they can develop such pilonidal abscesses. So in the pilonidal cyst it can get infected, there can be formation of pus, and thereby we call it as a pilonidal abscess. இப்போ இங்க பாருங்க 180 and 181. அப்ப நம்ம சொன்ன மாதிரி simple and complicated. So ஒரு cyst இருந்ததுன்னா ஓகே, அது பெரிய சிஸ்டா இருந்தது, எக்ஸ்டென்ஷன்ஸ் இருந்தது, டிஃபிகல்ட்டா இருந்தது, நிறைய டெப்ரீட் பண்ண வேண்டியதா இருந்துச்சுன்னா then you can go for a complication. So just 1 second, please excuse me. Okay, so pilonidal cyst க்கு separate codes இருக்கு. So what we'll have to do as coders, we'll have to see what is the effort that is being given by the provider. டாக்டர் எவ்வளவு தூரம் வேலை பார்த்திருக்காங்க நம்ம பார்க்கணும். ஓகே, அதுக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி கோட்ஸ் போடணும். சரியா? ஸோ இப்போ நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, the same way மல்டிபிள் டெப்ரீட்மெண்ட், நிறைய கிளீன் பண்ண வேண்டியதா இருக்கு, டைம் கன்சியூமிங்கா இருக்குன்னா then you can go with 181. Same way 10120 ஃபாரின் பாடி, முள்ளு குத்திருச்சு, foreign body is many foreign body, wood இல்ல splinters ஏதா உள்ள போயிருச்சு, we are going to remove that. You can go and report 10120, 101-121. Next you see 10140. இந்த கோட் எதுக்காகனா hematoma, seroma or fluid collection. ஹெமட்டோமாங்கிறது ரத்தக்கட்டு, கன்டியூஷன் இல்லையா, ரத்தக்கட்டு. உள்குத்துன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, உள்காயம்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, ஹெமட்டோமா. Seroma, hematoma to seroma can a difference. In a hematoma, you'll find blood cells, whereas in a seroma, you'll find a serous tissue, plasma. So seroma is usually a post-operative complication. So surgery mudinji, usually the person can suffer from seroma. Bulla is the large fluid collection. So 1140 kom 1160 kom, what's the difference?
It's incision and this is puncture, sir.
Very good. So that is incision. You are going to make a surgical cut. In 40, you are going to make a cut, whereas in 60, you are just going to aspirate. So needle ulla vittu, you are going to aspirate. Okay, that is an aspiration. Okay, see 1180. 1180. See what's that? IND of a complex post-op wound infection. அப்ப சர்ஜிக்கல் wounds, அப்ப ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க, ஒரு பேஷண்ட்டுக்கு ஆப்சிஸ் இருக்கு, ஓகே, ஆப்சிஸ் இருக்கு, இல்ல அந்த wound வந்து after say the person has developed, she has underwent a mastectomy, if that mastectomy site is not healing well, அத வந்து IND பண்றாங்கன்னா don't go and report IND of abscess 160, since it is a post-operative wound. Okay, it's a surgical wound இல்லையா, it's a non-healing surgical wound. In that case, you'll have to go with 10180. Clear, Amma? So now what we have been, the simple procedure we have seen, one is biopsies we have seen, FNA biopsies we have seen with or without guidance, number of lesions that are being treated. So for biopsy, you should know what is the type of biopsy, whether it is shave, punch or incision or fine needle, whether they have done any guidance or not, and what are the number of lesions that are being treated. Correct? Next நம்ம IND பார்த்தோம். IND பாருங்க, ஒவ்வொரு கண்டிஷன்ஸ்க்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி. Acne treatmentக்கு we have a separate code 140. 160 is for abscess, 60 and 61. 80 and 81 is for pilonidal abscess, pilonidal cyst. Next for hematoma or a seroma. Next is for a surgical wound. Okay. Okay, now we move on to debridement. What is debridement? Simple concept. Debridement is medical cleansing. So a patient has got wounds, isn't it? So wound care specialists, they are going to debride it. So they are going to cleanse the wound. So in debridement, you need to understand there are two types of debridement. One is a non-surgical debridement and a surgical debridement. Non-surgical debridement na enna appdin pathina, now when the physician does a debridement, now what is debridement here, what is a physician going to do here? So patient has got a wound, upon the wound la enna ella irukala, now the wound can have, so why there is a wound vandu eppdiyala after an injury ஏற்பட்டிருக்கலாம் இல்லையா, or because of patient can suffer from diabetes or hypertension or varicose veins. Varicosities can cause ulcers, diabetic ulcers, hypertensive ulcers. Yeah. So there are so many causes. Alcoholic neuropathy can also cause ulcerations or peripheral neuropathy. So there are so many causes of formation of wounds. If in the wound it is non-healing, now they are going to debride it. They are going to cleanse it. Yeah, wound can be easily contaminated, isn't it? So the wound heal, we need to have granulation tissue, isn't it? So how does a wound heal? A wound heals by primary intention, by the formation of granulation tissue. And also the wound can also heal by a secondary intention, tertiary intention. Phase of wound healing. You just need to know that the physician is going to debride the wound. So this wound can have this contamination. So as a result, there can be biofilms can be there. Growth can be there on the wound. We call them as biofilms, and these biofilms impede the healing of wounds. They will obstruct the natural healing of wounds. Now there can be necrotic substances. There can be exudates seen in the wound. There can be fibrinous deposits. Now all these are going to prevent the healing or delay the healing. So the physician is going to remove the biofilm, remove the fibrin, remove that exudate material. Okay. So remove the contaminant. So all this he can do. He can debride it. So this is what we say as debridement. So we say it as nothing but debridement as an act of removal of the devitalized tissues. So the surgeon is going to actually remove the devitalized tissues. Now here you need to understand, if the physician is going to remove the devitalized tissue from this epidermis, okay, from the epidermis and dermis, now this is considered as a non-surgical debridement, and so we will not find the codes for such non-surgical debridements in the surgical section, because 1 to 6 is for surgical procedures, isn't it? But a debridement at the superficial skin level is considered a non-surgical debridement, and so the code will be found under the medicine section. So you have codes 97597 and 97598. Can you please go and see quickly? Go to medicine section and can you see what is 97597 and 598? Can you please tell me? 97597.
Debridement. High pressure water jet with or without suction. Hard, sharp selective debridement with scissors, scalpel, and forceps. Open wound. Example: table, devitalized epidermis and/or dermis. Exudate debris biofilms, including topical applications. Wound assessment, use of whirlpool when performed, and instructions for ongoing care per session. Total wounds, surface area first 20 square centimeter or less.
Okay, so it is the debridement of dash, epidermis and dermis, right? So upon debridement of epidermis and dermis, will have to go to the medicine section. Now, when the debridement is going to be done beyond that, so if the surgeon is going to do a subcutaneous debridement, or the physician is going to do a debridement at the level of this muscle fascia, or sometimes if the patient has got a deeper wound like a pressure ulcer extending to the bones, now the physician will have to do a debridement till the level of bones. So bone debridement will also need to be performed. And you also know, in case of pressure ulcers, not just a bone debridement, now sometimes a physician will also have to do an ostectomy. So they'll go for the removal of pressure ulcers, and they might have to do an ostectomy where they are going to remove the affected, they are going to excise the affected bony tissue as well. Okay, so when you're going to report this debridement code, it's very simple. Now, what is the extent of debridement? You need to know what is the extent of debridement. Whether the physician is debriding till the level of the subcutaneous tissue or the muscle or the bone. Now, if it is going to be the subcutaneous tissue level, so you'll be using codes 11042 and 11045. If the physician is going to debride the muscular layer, the muscular tissue, you'll be reporting codes 11043 and 11046. If the physician is going to do a debridement at the level of bone, you'll be reporting 11045 and then 47. But here you need to understand what is the extent of the tissue that has been debrided in area. In the area, say if the wound is going to be rectangular in size. So you know the area of a rectangle is length into breadth, isn't it? But here you might also be having a third dimension as width. So length into width into depth. So most of the time enna பண்ணுவாங்க, now they will document what is the area of the wound. எவ்வளோ area wound that has been debrided, the doctor will document. So area is always in square centimeter. Now please understand, some of the codes will be having the units as centimeter and some will be having in square centimeter. Now if you are going to add the length, centimeter plus centimeter, your answer will be in. So when you have 5 centimeter and 3 centimeter, your answer will be in 5 plus 3 is 8 centimeter. Whereas when you have a 5 centimeter into 3 centimeter, now this becomes 5 into 3 is 15, centimeter into centimeter becomes centimeter square. So here you need to understand, you need to understand the dimension. So whether it is in centimeter or square centimeter. So some codes will be in centimeter, some will have to be reported based on the square centimeter, especially in terms of area. So here they are going to debride the area, isn't it? So in the area they'll give you the actual square centimeter. அப்படி கொடுக்கல அப்படினா they give you like length, width, depth கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா you'll have to multiply the length and width. You'll have to multiply the length and width. Say for example, a wound is measuring with the dimensions 5 into 3 into 2 centimeter cube னு கொடுத்தான் வைங்க. 5 centimeter into 3 centimeter into 2 centimeter னு கொடுத்துட்டான். Now tell me what is the area of the wound that you'll be taking here. 5 into 3 into 2 centimeter னு கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Length, width, depth they have given you. Now tell me what is the area of wound that you will take here.
30 squares.
That's what I'm saying here. You should take only the length and width. Area இல்ல, area வந்து square units தான் வரும், cubic units வராது இல்லையா? So 5 into 3 into 2 வரும்போது now what will have to do, we'll have to take only the length and the width. So first element on the length, second the width, third on the depth. Okay, so we'll have to multiply the length and width. So the length is 5 here and the width is 3 here. 5 into 3 into 2 la length is 5, width is 3. So 5 3s are 15. Centimeter into centimeter, centimeter square. See, don't worry, mostly they'll give you the area. The mari calculation they don't want you to do. Mostly they'll give you area, but sometimes ஒருவேளை அவங்க இந்த டைமென்ஷனை கொடுத்துட்டாங்க அப்படின்னா you'll have to multiply the first two தான் நீங்க மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணணும், which is length, width, depth. Okay, now another thing, say for example, இப்போ ஒரு wound வந்து debride பண்ண போறாங்கன்னா first the doctor might tell you what is the total wound surface area of the wound. Say the total wound surface might be 100 square centimeter, but physician would have debrided only 60 square centimeter. Now will you put the code for 100 or for 60? Will you be reporting the code for 100 or 60? See, wound total area on the 100 square centimeter, but what the physician has done, he has debrided only the 60 square centimeter. So the work is only for 60 square centimeter. So report the code only for 60 square centimeter. Don't worry about the total square centimeter. Did you understand? Wound எவ்வளவு பெருசு வேணாலும் இருக்கலாம், but doctor எவ்வளவு தூரம் debride பண்ணிருக்காரு அத நம்ம பார்க்க போறோம். புரிஞ்சுச்சாமா? டாக்டர் எவ்வளவு தூரம் debride பண்ணிருக்காரோ நம்ம அத தான் பார்க்க போறோம். Say for example, so here this wound is extending till the muscle fascia and the doctor has done a debridement of 60 square centimeter till the subcutaneous tissue. The wound extends till the muscle fascia and the doctor has debrided 60 square centimeter till the subcutaneous region. Now can you tell me the code? So wound extension வந்து muscular level வரை இருக்கு, but doctor debride பண்ணது எவ்வளவு தூரம்? subcutaneous tissue வரை, கரெக்ட்டா? அப்ப என்ன கோட்ஸ் எடுக்கணும் நம்ம? 42 and 45 11042 அந்த சீரிஸ் பண்ணோம். 42ங்கிறது subcutaneous, நம்ம மைண்ட்ல வெச்சுக்கோங்க. 42 வந்து subcutaneous, 43 வந்து muscle, 45 வந்துட்டு bone. So இங்க debridement பண்ணது till the level of the subcutaneous tissue. அப்ப 42ங்கற கோட் எடுப்பீங்க, கரெக்ட்டா? Okay, I said 60 square centimeter. 42 எத்தனை ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர் வர? 20. So நமக்கு இருக்குது 60. So அப்ப கோட் என்னென்ன கோட்ஸ் போடுவீங்க?
11042 into 2.
Very good. So 11042 11045 into 2. 20 க்கு போயிருச்சா? 20 க்கு 42 போயிருச்சு. பேலன்ஸ் எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? இன்னும் 40 இருக்கு. 40 க்கு இன்னொரு 20 க்கு 45 ஒன்று, அடுத்து 20க்கு 45. ஓகே, say if it is like 70 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டரா இருக்கு. இப்போ என்ன பண்ணுவீங்க? 70 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டரா இருக்கு. அப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அந்த 20 மைனஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. 20 போயிருச்சு. ரிமைனிங் 20 20 10 இருக்கு இல்லையாமா?
45 into 3.
என்ன? வெரி குட். ஸோ 11042 ஆமா போயிருச்சு. 20 போயிருச்சு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 விட்டுடுங்க. ஆஃப்டர் 20 என்ன இருக்கு? 20 20 10 இருக்கு. 40 60 70. இப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 போயிருச்சு. ரிமைனிங் 20 20 10. ஸோ 42க்கு போட்டுட்டீங்க. நெக்ஸ்ட் 45க்கு 3 யூனிட்ஸ் போடும். கிளியரா? இப்போ ஒருவேளை போன் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் டில் த லெவல் ஆஃப் போன் வித் 90 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர், சொல்லுங்க பாப்பா என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? போன் டெப்ரிட் ஐ மீன் bone debridement of a wound till for around 90 square centimeter என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? இல்ல 95 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர் என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? சொல்லுங்க பாப்போம். மேகி வேண்டாம், வேற மேடி வேண்டாம், வேற ஏதாவது சொல்லுங்க. சோனி ட்ரை பண்றியா? இல்ல மோகன் பாபு அதே ஆபீஸ் மோகன்? மோகன் ஆபீஸா?
No, sir. Came home.
Oh, okay. Fine. He is from Ongole, traveling to Chennai and Ongole தான மோகன்?
No, sir. Palakulu, West Godavari.
West Godavari இருந்து is coming to Chennai, Mambattur and West Godavari. Very pathetic. Weekly is going there and coming back. சோனி சொல்லு. ஈஸி தானே? 95 ஸ்கொயர். அப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 போயிருச்சு. ஓகே, ரிமைனிங் என்ன இருக்கு? 20 20 வரணும். 20 40 60 80 100 வர இல்லையா? அப்ப 95 80 தாண்டிருச்சு. அப்ப பாருங்க, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 போயிருச்சு. ரிமைனிங் 20 40 60 80 80 95. அப்ப எத்தனை யூனிட்ஸ் இருக்கு? 5 யூனிட்ஸ் இருக்கு. 5 யூனிட்ஸ்க்கு வந்து செப்பரேட்டா நம்ம ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணணும். போன் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் கோட் என்னது? 11044. யா ரைட். 11044. பிரைமரி கோட் இஸ் 44. அப்போ நெக்ஸ்ட் கோட் இஸ் 47 times 5. Did you understand?
4 sir.
Sir,
95 சொன்னல?
47 into 4.
உனக்கு இல்ல ரொம்ப நல்லது. இல்லப்பா 95 இல்ல. 95 இல்லம்மா.
44
first 20 போயிருச்சு.
Which
okay, 20 போயிருச்சு. ஏங்க ஒரு செகண்ட் 20 40 68 8. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 போயிருச்சு. 40 68. ரைட் சூப்பர். because 95 சொன்னனா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 20 மைனஸ் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஏன்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோடுக்கு 20 போய்டுமா? 1104 4க்கு போயிருதா? போன் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் இல்ல. அப்ப போன் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட்க்கு என்ன கோடு? 44. 20 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர் வர அந்த கோடு தான். அப்ப 20 போயிருச்சு. அப்ப 95 minus 20 வந்து 75. 75 தான் பாக்கி இருக்கு. சோ 20 40 60 60 தாண்டிருச்சு. அப்ப 80 வர இருக்கு. அப்ப 80 குள்ள தான் 75. அப்போ டோட்டலா 4 யூனிட்ஸ் போடணும். அப்ப ஆட் ஆன் கோடுக்கு 4 யூனிட்ஸ் போடணும். அப்ப 11044க்கு ஒரு யூனிட், 11047க்கு 4 யூனிட்ஸ். கிளியராமா? புரிஞ்சுதா பத்மா இப்போ?
No, sir.
95 சொன்னேனா? 95 சொன்னேன். இப்போ அந்த கோடை போய் பாரு. 44 வந்து போனுக்கா? போன் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் கோட் என்னது? 44ஆ?
Yes, sir.
44ம் 47ம் போடணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அப்போ அந்த 90 எத்தனை 20s இருக்கு? 20 40 60 80 100 5 இது இருக்கா?
Yes, sir.
5 பார்ட்ஸ் இருக்கா? அல்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பார்ட்டுக்கு வந்து பிரைமரி கோட் போட்டுட்டியா? 44 போட்டியா? ரிமைனிங் 4 பார்ட்ஸ் இருக்கா? அதுக்கு வந்துட்டு 47.
Okay.
ஓகே, இப்போ இன்னொரு எக்ஸாம்பிள். ஓகே, 82 square centimeter மசில் வர அவங்க வந்து டெப்ரீட் பண்றாங்க. 82 square centimeter muscle debridement. So இப்படி பாருங்க 20, 40, 60, 80 இல்லையா? 80 தாண்டிருச்சு 82 கரெக்டாமா? 20, 40, 60, 80, 80 தாண்டிருச்சு. அப்போ மொத்தம் 5 யூனிட். 5 யூனிட்ல ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இருந்து மசில்னா 43 போடுவோமா? 11043. அப்போ 43 ஒரு யூனிட், பேலன்ஸ் 4 யூனிட்ஸ் வந்துட்டு 46. ஈஸி தானே இது?
ஆனா அது இட்ஸ் நாட் ஈக்குவல் டு half the thing சார். அதனால 3 பட்டா போடுங்க சார்.
இல்ல இது அப்படி இல்லம்மா. இஃப் யூ ஜஸ்ட் see கொஞ்சம் மியூட்ல போட்டுக்கோங்க. யாரோ கொஞ்சம் மியூட்ல போடுங்கம்மா. யாரோ இதுல இருக்கீங்க. ஓகே ஃபைன். See it says part thereof or part thereof. It can be any part. அது எக்ஸாக்ட் ஹாஃபா தான் இருக்கும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. When I say 82, so 20, 40, 60, 80 தாண்டிருச்சு. 80க்கு அப்புறம் 2 இருக்கு இல்லையா? 2 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர். அதுக்கும் நம்ம கோட் போடணும். இது பார்ட்ங்கிறது நாட் தி எக்ஸாக்ட் பார்ட். இட் கேன் பி எனி பார்ட். அது 1/3 இருக்கலாம், 1/4 இருக்கலாம், 1/5 இருக்கலாம். You will not believe. நாங்க half சென்டிமீட்டருக்கு 1 சென்டிமீட்டருக்கெல்லாம் ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டருக்கெல்லாம் கோட் போடுவோம். Doctors they want it because the code says or part thereof. Do you see that? Each additional 20 square centimeter or part thereof, any part it can be. So இப்போ 82க்கு பாருங்க 20, 40, 60, 80, 80 தாண்டிருச்சு. தாண்டணும் அடுத்த யூனிட். ஸோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இது வந்து மசில்னால 43க்கு ஒரு கோடு, ரிமைனிங் 4க்கு 46. ஓகே, இன்னொன்று புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. See, whenever the physician is going to do debridement அப்படின்னா you'll have to code for the maximum debridement. அதாவது subcutaneous tissue க்கு போயிட்டு தான் you'll have to go to muscle fascia and then to the bone. So you cannot code separate codes for subcutaneous tissue debridement, separate for bone debridement லாம் போடக்கூடாது. Code the highest debridement, highest depth that has been debrided. So you cannot report 42, 43 and 44 லாம் ஒண்ணா ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ண கூடாது. இப்போ நம்ம இங்கேருந்து டெல்லிக்கு போறோம் அப்படின்னா டெல்லிக்கு போகும்போது ட்ரெயின்ல ஆந்திரா ஸ்டேஷன் வரும், போபால் வரும், இதெல்லாமே இன்க்ளூடட். ஒவ்வொருக்கும் தனித்தனியா டிக்கெட் வாங்கிட்டு போக மாட்டோம் இல்லையா? வில் கெட் அ ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் அவே டிக்கெட் டு டெல்லி. ஸோ கோயிங் டு டெல்லி இன்க்ளூட்ஸ் பாசிங் ஆல் தீஸ் ஸ்டேட்ஸ் அண்ட் சிட்டிஸ். ஸோ அதே கான்செப்ட் தான். பட் சம்டைம்ஸ் say for example the patient has got 2 wounds. ஒரு wound the physician is debriding till the level of muscle, and the other wound the physician is debriding till the level of subcutaneous tissue. In this case அப்ப 2 wounds இருக்கு. அப்ப என்ன செய்யறது? அப்ப அந்த முதல் wound எது highest debridement you'll be reporting first. So you'll be reporting 11043 for the wound where muscle debridement is done, and for the next wound you report 11042 with modifier 59. ஏன்னா இன்சூரன்ஸ் எப்படி புரிஞ்சுக்கிடுவான் அப்படின்னா மசில் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் பண்ணிட்ட, நீ டெல்லி வர போயிட்ட, அப்போ கோயிங் டு ஆந்திரா, கோயிங் டு மத்திய பிரதேஷ், கோயிங் டு சத்தீஸ்கர் இஸ் ஆல்சோ இன்க்ளூடட். வை ஆர் யூ ஆஸ்கிங் அ செப்பரேட் பேமெண்ட்னு கேட்பா இன்சூரன்ஸ் இல்லையா? ஸோ நீங்க மசில் டெப்ரிட்மெண்ட் போட்டீங்கன்னா subcutaneous debridement is also included. But here we are trying to show the insurance company that these are 2 different wounds. ஒரு wound வந்து muscle debridement, இன்னொரு wound வந்துட்டு subcutaneous debridement. புரிஞ்சுச்சாமா? So whenever you are going to report 110 bone debridement கோடோ muscle debridement இல்ல subcutaneous debridement போடும் பொழுது please use modifier 59 to indicate that these are separate wounds. Did you understand what I'm saying? Okay, I'll give you one example. Okay, right now 50 square centimeter first wound வந்து 50 square centimeter debrided. Okay, first wound வந்துட்டு 50 square centimeter debrided, muscular fascial level, muscle fascial level. Now another wound is 65 square centimeter debrided till the bone level. இப்போ என்னென்ன கோட்ஸ் போடுவீங்க? ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து 50 till the muscle fascia, next is 65 square centimeter till the bone level. So first muscle சொன்னேன்னா 50 square centimeter. இதுக்கு ஆன்சர் என்ன?
Double 1044 போனுக்கு எடுத்துட்டு அது ஃபேசியா கிராஸ் பண்ணி போறதுனால அப்படி எடுத்துப்பாங்க.
ஓகே, இப்போ இதுல நம்ம இப்படி வருவோம். இந்த ரெண்டு ஒன்ல எது ஹையஸ்ட் டெப்ரீட்மென்ட், ஃபர்ஸ்டா செகண்டா?
செகண்ட் ஒன்.
செகண்ட் ஒன் போன். இப்போ போனுக்கு கோட் பண்ணுங்க. 65 சொன்னேன்.
1104 1104 into 2.
ஓகே ஓகே, 65 சொன்னா 20 40 60 தாண்டிருச்சு. டோட்டல் 4 யூனிட்டா? போனுக்கு 20 40 60 60 தாண்டிருச்சு, 65. சரியா? 4 யூனிட்டா? டோட்டலா 4 யூனிட். அப்ப ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோட் வந்துட்டு 44 47 times 3. கிளியரா? All of you understood? 44 47 times 3. புரிஞ்சுச்சாமா? ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் மசில் ஃபேஷியாக்கு 50 ஸ்கொயர் சென்டிமீட்டர். இதுக்கு என்ன கோடு? எப்படி பிரிப்போம்? 20 40 40 தாண்டிருச்சு, 50. So total 3 units. 43
46 into 2.
Very good. 46 into 2. 43 46 into 2. இப்போ என்ன செய்ய போறீங்க? இந்த 43க்கும் 46ம் மாடிஃபயர் 59 ஆட் பண்ணணும். ஏன்னா டினை ஆயிடும். புரிஞ்சா? ஏன்னா மசிலுக்கு போயிட்டு தானே போனுக்கு போக முடியும். நம்ம போனுக்கான கோடை போட்டோம். Isn't it? We have put the code for bone. So we cannot report separately for muscle. But to show the insurance company that it is a separate wound, it is the other wound. So we'll have to report 43-59, 46-59 into 2. Did you understand? கொஞ்சம் நீங்க போய் ஒர்க் அவுட் பண்ணுங்க, you will understand. சரியா? Okay ma. So next code we are moving on to cons. Now do you see the codes? 11055 5657 pairing or cutting. இது வந்து என்னன்னா காலாணி கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? காலாணி. We say it as corn. C-O-R-N, corn or callus. So we say it as a corn or a callus. Illana we say it as a hyperkeratotic lesion. It's nothing but hyperkeratosis. Keratosis is keratin, too much of, and the skin protein. Keratinocytes சொல்றோம் இல்லையா? So the skin contains two type of cells. One is keratinocytes and melanocytes. Keratinocytes produce a keratin. So our nail is made up of dead keratin, which is a protein. So too much of keratin we say it as hyperkeratosis. So அப்படி இருக்கும்போது காலாணி எல்லாம் இருக்கும் இல்லையா, அதை வந்து வெட்டி எடுக்கிறாங்க, ரிமூவ் பண்ண போறாங்க. Say for example, now they are going to remove like 6 lesions. அதாவது ஆறு காலாணி இருக்கு, 6 ரிமூவ் பண்றாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? Pairing or cutting, you see ma, you have codes there. Pairing or cutting of benign hyperkeratotic lesion. 6 lesions are there. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? One 11057. It says more than 5 lesions. புரிஞ்சுச்சா? more than 5 lesions. புரிஞ்சுச்சா? ஓகே, நெக்ஸ்ட் பாருங்க. இப்போ நம்ம டெப்ரீட்மென்ட் பார்த்தோம், woundக்கு பார்த்தோம். ஓகே, now sometimes patient can suffer from certain diseases like gangrene. Gangrene இருக்குன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. Say the Peyronie is gangrene, right? Peyronie is gangrene. So in the Peyronie gangrene என்ன ஏற்படலாம்னா, now there can be cellulitis. So inflammation of the subcutaneous tissue or extensive eczematous gangrene. இதெல்லாம் வந்து டெப்ரீட் பண்ணாங்கன்னா we have separate codes. woundக்கு separate code இருக்கு, எக்ஸ்டென்சிவான ஒரு gangrene cellulitis இருந்தாலும் separate codes இருக்கு. So say for example, the physician is going to debride the abdomen as well as the genitalia. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? abdomen and genitalia debride பண்ண போறாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? Okay, genitalia and perineum are the, can we see code ma? 11004 is for genitalia and perineum. 11005 is for abdominal wall. 11006 is for external genitalia. Okay, next patient has got an open fracture. What is an open fracture? Open fracture na என்னது? Fracture which can be seen
The
outside.
bone is exposed to air.
The bone is exposed. The fractured bone segment is exposed. That's an open fracture. So the problem with the open fracture is it can get contaminated. இல்லையா குழந்தை வந்து விளையாடிட்டு இருக்கு கீழே விழுந்துருச்சு மரத்துல இருந்து சஸ்டைன்ட் ஓப்பன் ஃப்ராக்சர் வைங்க. Now the child is being brought to the hospitals. In the meantime அங்க மண்ணு கிண்ணு எல்லாமே அதில் ஒட்டிட்டு இருக்கும் இல்லையா. So whereby the fractured site can undergo contamination, isn't it? So when the patient is being brought to the hospital, first what they are going to do, எல்லாம் clean பண்ண போறாங்க. Fracture ஆன சைட்டை வந்துட்டு clean பண்ண போறாங்க. ஒரு ஆன்டிபயோட்டிக் ஆன்டிசெப்டிக் ஊத்தி clean பண்ண போறாங்க. So that is a separately billable service. So usually என்ன ஆகும் அமெரிக்கன் செட்டப்ல பாத்தீங்கன்னா now this will be done by the emergency physician. Emergency department doctors இருக்கும்போது the ED physician will do the debridement and then the subsequent fracture treatment will be done by the orthopedist. Upon the ED doctor, he will be doing a debridement. Now, please understand, this is a debridement of open fracture. Closed fracture ku debridement panna theva kadiyadu. There is no need to do a debridement of a closed fracture, isn't it? Because the wound is closed. Isn't it? The skin is intact. Skin is intact there, so there is no possibility of contamination or infection there. So only for open fractures we are going to do a debridement. So when they do a debridement here, now please, and if it is going to be a case of a fracture, again you need to know what is the extent of debridement. So if they are going to debride till the level of bone, now what is your code? What is your code? The emergency physician is debriding till the level of bone for a case of an open fracture. What is your code? The 11042 முன்னாடி இருக்கு பாருங்க. Right, Divya. 11012, that's right. So you can see debridement, skin, subcutaneous tissue, muscle fascia, muscle and bone. Is that clear, ma? So emergency physician க்கு இந்த கோட் போடுவாங்க, orthopedist க்கு fracture reduction கான கோட் போடுவாங்க. Okay, so now we are done with this hyperkeratosis. Next we move on to skin tags. Skin tags க்கு what's the other term that I told you? I told you a term. What's that? Skin tag என்ன பேரு? Acrocordon. Please write down. Bookல இருக்கா பாருங்க அங்க இல்ல அங்க. So please write down acrocordon. ACROCHORDON. Acrocordon. Okay. இப்போ now I told you the code selection is based on the condition. Now if the physician is going to debride a corn, debride a callus, kalani, இல்ல ஒரு hyperkeratotic lesion debride பண்ண போனா you will be reporting codes 11055, 56 or 57 according to the number of lesions. But if it is going to be a case of a debridement, see இன்னொன்னு புரிஞ்சுக்கோங்கம்மா, debridement கொடுத்திருப்பாங்க. Debridement of what? That you need to know. புரிஞ்சா? ஒரு காலானியை கூட debridement பண்ணலாம். காலானியை debride பண்ணாங்கன்னா 55, 56, 57. ஆனா if it is going to be a skin tag, the code is 101-200, 101-11201. Code வேற. ஆனா debridement of wound ன்னு வரும்போதுட்டு 11042. But if it is debridement of an extensive exematous gangrene na வேற code. If it is debridement of an open fracture site na வேற code. So you need to be careful. So just don't go blindly with the term debridement. You need to go what is being debrided. What is a lesion that is going to be debrided? Because we have got separate codes. புரிஞ்சா நான் சொன்னலையா based on conditions. Debridement skin tag இருந்தா வேற code. வார்ட்டா இருந்தா வேற code. வார்ட்டுக்கு debride பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, destroy பண்ணுவாங்க. Okay? So you need to understand what is a condition. Accordingly, you have to choose the codes. So that's why it will be a little confusing. So certain codes எல்லாமே ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்கா கொடுத்திருக்கான் பாருங்க. Pairing or cutting வந்து this is only for corn or callus or a hyperkeratotic lesion. Next is for skin tag or acrocordon. இப்போ இங்க acrocordon, okay. Now 15 lesions of skin tags being removed. என்ன கோட் போடுவீங்க? Fifteen lesions of skin tag being removed. என்ன கோட் போடுவீங்க? 200 மட்டுமாமா? Okay, good. So when you see 200, it says including 15 lesions. Okay, okay. Now what if the doctor is going to debride? It's like 37 skin tags. 37 skin tags remove பண்றாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? $37 skin tags remove பண்றாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்?
200, 201 into 3.
Okay, 200 ரைட்டுங்களா? 200. இப்போ பாத்தீங்கன்னா 200 வந்துட்டு up to 15 lesions. நான் சொன்னது 37 இல்லையா? So first 15 போயிருச்சு. இன்னும் பாக்கி எவ்வளவு இருக்கு? 37 minus 15 எவ்வளவு? இன்னும் 22 lesions இருக்கா? இல்லையா? So 37 minus 15 is 22 lesions are there. இன்னும் 22 are there. அப்போ 201 says each additional 10 lesions. So for every 10 lesion, you'll be reporting a 201. So இங்க every 10 lesion, now we have got 22. First 10 போயிருச்சு, ரெண்டாவது 10, 10, 10, 2. So totally 3 units. So your coding would be 11200 and 11201 times 3. Clear, Amma? Did you understand? யாருக்கு புரியல? பத்மா புரிஞ்சுச்சா?
Yes, sir.
ஜெயஸ்ரீ புரிஞ்சுச்சாமா?
Yes, sir.
ஓகே, சரி. இப்போ இது பார்த்துட்டோம் இல்லையா? நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் எதுக்கு? ஓகே, இப்போ இன்னொரு போடுவாங்க. இப்போ ஏகே வந்து டெப்ரீட் பண்றாங்க. ஆக்டினிக், இது ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் மாதிரி. ஆக்டினிக் கெரக்டோசிஸ் ரிப்போர்ட் பண்றாங்க. கம் டு 17,000 வாங்கல. பேஜ் நம்பர் 17,000 வாங்கல. 17,000. Destruction benign or pre-malignant lesions. So pre-malignant lesion இருந்துச்சுன்னா இந்த கோட் போடுவோம். Pre-malignant lesions என்னன்னா ரெண்டே கோட் தான். ஆக்டினிக் கெரட்டோசிஸ் ரைட் டவுன். ரெண்டே கண்டிஷன்ஸ். ஆக்டினிக் கெரட்டோசிஸ் ரைட் டவுன். சோலார் கெரட்டோசிஸ். ஸோ உங்க டயக்னோசிஸ் வந்து ஆக்டினிக் கெரட்டோசிஸ் இல்ல சோலார் கெரட்டோசிஸா இருந்துச்சுன்னா இட் இஸ் a pre-malignant condition. Okay, now tell me, the doctor is going to debride like 12 lesions. 12 lesions of AK வந்துட்டு இவங்க destroy பண்றாங்க. அப்ப என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? 12 lesions of AK actinic keratosis வந்துட்டு destroy பண்றாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்?
17,000, 17,003.
ஓகே, சரி. 20 lesions of AK போட்டாங்கன்னா 20 lesions of AK வந்து destroy பண்றாங்க. என்ன கோட் போடலாம்? lesions of AK destroy பண்றாங்க. 17,004 அது மட்டும் போடுவீங்க. கரெக்டா? ஏன்னா 17,004 says 15 or more lesions. ஒன்னு 15 இருக்கணும், more than 15 it does not matter. More than 15 இருந்தா the code will be 17,004. But now I said 13 lesions சொன்னேன். இப்போ இந்த 13 lesions-க்கு what you did, you reported 17,000 and 17,003 second through 14 lesions இல்லையா? So up to 14 lesions வரை நீங்க பில் பண்ணலாம். 15 lesions in 17,004 ஆயிடும். But then, do you see the word as each? Eachங்கிற ஒரு word பார்க்க முடியுதா? In 17,003. That means what? For each lesion, you'll have to report 17,003. So totally I said as 13 lesions of AK. Correcta? 13 lesions of AK ல என்னவாச்சு? அப்போ இந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அப்போ மொத்தமா 13 லீஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. இந்த 13 எப்படி பிரிச்சுக்கணும் அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோடு 17,000 வந்து முதல் கோடு 1 போயிருச்சு. அப்போ இந்த 13 minus 1 is 12. கரெக்டா? அப்போ 17,003 into 12. Did you understand? Very simple. AK எப்படின்னாமா less than 15 இருந்துச்சுன்னா 15ல இருந்துட்டு ஒரு கோடு 17,004 15க்கு குறைவா இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா வெரி சிம்பிள் 1 இப்ப 8னா 1 plus 7 10னா 1 plus 9 போட்டணும் அவ்வளவுதான். இப்ப ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் 7 lesions of AK being destroyed என்ன போடுவீங்க? It is less than 15 ஆச்சு. 7ங்கிறது less than 15. அப்ப இந்த 7 எப்படி போடுவோம்? 1 plus 6. அப்ப ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கோட் வந்து 17,000, நெக்ஸ்ட் 17,003 into 6. புரிஞ்சுச்சா? புரிஞ்சுச்சாமா? anybody has a doubt here? இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸாமுக்கு வரும். AK இது எல்லாம் எக்ஸாமுக்கு வரும். இதெல்லாம் ஃபுல் மார்க் வாங்கணும். ஏன்னா இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப ஈஸி. சும்மா 1 2 3 கவுண்ட் பண்ணி போட்டு தான் நம்ம கோட் போட போறோம். So far, any doubts you have? And you take some break, have some tea and come back, please. All of you, please have a tea and come back. And I know nariya paaka vendirukku. So much is there. Okay, ma. Please take a break and please rejoin after 10 minutes.